Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. I am Muhammad Ahmed Qadri with a unique program, Islam in the Contemporary World. The program aims to discuss about various aspects of Islamic thought, Islamic behavior, Islamic culture, but it's not only Islamic. We would see how the Western world works for this. Naturally, we are human beings, we live in the contemporary world, and we need some understanding with the non-Muslim world, and the non-Muslim world needs to have some understanding with Muslim world. For this program would be a bridge among nations. In this regard, today's topic of discussion is very important and interesting as well. This is a unique topic, would be discussed by the scholars, those who are familiar with theory as well as practice. The title of the discussion is Work Culture. Viewers, you must be surprising having this topic today. Why? Naturally, it is for the larger interest of understanding and larger interest of our viewers. How Islam says about the working behavior. For this purpose, we have invited our two guest speakers. The first one is a well-known personality, Professor Dr. Abu Wajdi. He is a well-known personality regarding administrative sciences and management. Currently, he is working as a Dean Faculty of Management Sciences and Administrative Sciences at the University of Karachi, Pakistan. Professor Dr. Abu Wajdi, we welcome you in our program. Our second guest is again from the University of Karachi, but he is from a different discipline. Professor Kaleem Raza Khan, he is a professor of English, and currently he is working as Registrar, University of Karachi, Pakistan. Professor Kaleem Raza Khan, we welcome you in our program.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Dr. Wajdi, let's see what is concept of work culture, and naturally, being a professor of political science and head of administrative sciences and management sciences, you would be the person who could clarify before us what is meant by work culture.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I must thank to QTV and Professor Dr. Qadri for inviting me in this very important topic which we are going to talk on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your appreciation.
Work culture,
yeah.
And it has a great significance. This is not only from the Western concept, but this is more important from the Islamic concept.
Exactly, exactly.
But I am beginning with this thing that sometimes the terminology seems to be very simple and is not very easy. But when we define it academically, when we give the concept and we give the meaning in a true sense, so this is not easy. This becomes very harder, and the entire concept is changed.
You mean once when you discuss any terminology in the light of academic definition, so it becomes a bit hard, comprehensive,
yeah,
and logical as well.
And very concise, rational.
Exactly, exactly.
Otherwise, everyone can give the meaning of this word. Even a person who is not known, who is not the students of the management, they can also say that what is work. And as the work is very commonly used, and work, we mean that getting work done.
Yeah.
And the concept of work is everywhere, in every facet, in your domestic life, in your personal life, in your social life. But what I understand that we are going to focus now, the work not only in one perspective of the personal life or domestic life or informal organizations. You say, when we talk about work, so this is very important to say that where the concept of work exists, So the work exists with the organizations.
Exactly.
And organizations, as you are also political scientists, and we all know that organization is in the informal as well the formal organizations. Concept of work, this varies from the informal and formal. What we have concept of the work in the informal, this is not the same in the formal. When we take a formal organization or the organizations where the concept of the workplace is concerned, this is entirely different. Suppose in the domestic life, in the informal organization, even in a family, the housewife, she also works. Each member of the family, they are also involved in doing work, and they are free to do as per their desire, as per their behest. There is no restriction that what they work. Means a person, a member of as being a member of the family, you can work a lot, numerous work. There is no any defined work. At a time you lock your house. At a time you decorate your house. You all the time involved
in working
in such kind of the work.
This may be taken as a formal and informal definition of work culture. So coming back to you, I would request Professor Kaleem Raza Khan. You're working as a registrar of the university. How do you take this terminology, work culture?
Since this term has two words, and in order to define them, in order to explain them, these two words, first word is culture. And if we look at it from the Islamic point of view, I don't see any difference between the two terms, because in Islam we submit ourselves to the will of God.
Exactly.
Culture is a way of doing it. So in a way, culture is also a way of life. When we join them together, especially in Islamic concept, work is your duty. Whatever you do is your work, that's your job, and that's your duty. And within Islam, you have to perform your duties according to the Islamic principles. And Islam brought several new concepts to the world. I use the word new in the sense that Islam encompasses every aspect of our life. Whatever we do, we have to do it according to the concepts of Islam. One of them is honesty. Different virtues. One of them is honesty, sincerity, devotion. So if I'm devoting myself to my work, I'm actually performing something which is next to worship. Because if we are doing anything according to the Islamic principles, there is also taken as a kind of worship. It's ibadah.
It is. And naturally, our discussion is in progress, but we have to go for a short break. Please be with us, stay with us. We are coming back very soon. It is a short break. Welcome back in our program Islam in the Contemporary World. And world relates to the work behavior, work culture. Professor Kaleem Raza Khan was discussing about work culture. Please go on.
Well, as we were saying, Dr. Saab said that work is everywhere. Wherever we are, we have to do something, and there is our work. But I'm looking at it from the point of view of Islam. What does Islam ask us to do? So if we are at home, our nature of work is different. When we are in an office, our nature of work is different. When the office is a part of a whole network, then our behavior has to be different. But our behavior should not be against the norms and standards of a society. If the society is Islamic, we have to behave according to the norms of that society.
How about once if a Muslim is working with non-Muslim?
I think that you can remain a Muslim by heart and by practice as well. Restrain yourself from such activities which are against your own norms and your own cultures. For example,
as well Islam.
As well Islam. For example, hugging women. You can avoid that.
Yeah.
You can avoid drinking. For example, when I was at Lancaster, at the end of the year, they wanted to celebrate the end of the year. And they brought champagne. I didn't become the part of that party. I was there. I didn't drink anything. But I was a part of their culture. So I wasn't an oddity there.
Yeah. So you mean that once we have interaction with other culture, we should know what they exactly require, because they in the Western world as well North American world, they don't like to be closer.
Yeah.
Once you're talking, there should be a distance. Once if you don't know to whom you're talking, so your style of communication should be different. So it is work culture. And once if you're taken as a part of administration, then your style of communication and style of like in North America, and especially in America, they don't go for their dresses like tie and coat and other stuff. Usually they are informal in their office, and there is no sort of barrier or hurdle to have your interaction with your manager or your high ups. But in different cultures, you have these sort of limitations. So you think in Islam, you see any kind of difference between the Western world and the Islamic world?
I think modesty is the key. Islam teaches us to be modest. Modesty requires that my body has to be covered, not from head to feet, but the parts which are recognized as, let's say, the body itself. I'm decently dressed. So if I'm decently dressed, I can be anywhere. But if I'm attending my office in Bermuda shorts or just a vest, it would be inappropriate. So we dress appropriately.
Yeah.
And if we are dressed appropriately, there is no harm in it, and it doesn't go against our religion.
Yeah, and
that's something.
Yeah, and this can be a true approach to be a part of culture. And talking about work culture, our Professor Dr. Abu, he's here, and I must say that you are dealing with administrative sciences and management sciences. So how do you correlate academically as well as practically?
You see, what the Dr. Sahab has said about the work culture, I would like to add some more thing. You see, we are now the part of the globalization.
Yeah.
And we are going towards coming closer, creating our interactions. And in globalization process, there are the workforce diversities, because in globalization process, as there is no restrictions on the basis of the religion, on the basis of the culture, on the basis of your language. And this is why the workforce diversity that has become very important factor of any organization.
So you're talking of multiculturalism?
Multicultural, yes.
Okay.
You see, no organization, whether Islamic, based on the Islamic principles, or on the Western principle, everyone respects. Everyone respects by laws, by their policies, to respect the values of the other nations, other peoples, other cultural people. Because you see, we are in the world that people are coming from far away. Pakistanis are going to work in the US. US is coming here on the multinational companies. When we give the examples of the multinational companies, only the thing is that we vary from our culture. Culture, and you see that this is your practice.
You mean
this is your norms.
While you say we, what do you mean by we? We means Muslim Ummah?
We means Muslim
Ummah? Okay.
Ummah, yeah.
Okay.
So, you see, for example, that if you are working in the US culture or in Japanese culture, there is no harm if someone, men and women, male and female, they embrace each other, they shake their hand. But if even the people coming from the US, American people, and if they work in the in our organization in Muslim societies, he has to respect the values.
Yeah.
He cannot freely.
Yeah.
He cannot shake the hand with the women.
Yeah.
Women do not shake the hand even if she is working outside. It depends.
Yeah, Dr. Wajdi, I must add up one of my experience that in America, in Canada, or in other developed countries, they have interculturalists.
Yeah.
Their officers have been appointed in their organization to welcome a newcomer and take them for orientation course. So before sending them outside of countries like from America or Canada or other countries, especially to Muslim communities or Muslim cultures or Muslim countries, they have special sessions. That's why they know not to shake hand,
Yeah.
not to go for hug, not to go for all these things, because they are seriously instructed. But is it a part of administrative setup today?
I think that we are living in the very modern age, and when we talk about institutions and organizations, so of course we are talking about the modern organizations, and under the new concepts and new philosophy of the management, and which appears as a human resource management. So the prime functions of the HR, even in the Muslim countries, if the Pakistani based people, if they are intending to go outside, or they are being transferred to the outside, so before leaving their country, their parent countries, they must know the culture of the host countries. And there is also system in Pakistan, because the Pakistani companies, which is the multinational companies, they are also following the same principles.
So
they are not sending their people without giving and without train them.
So Pakistani culture or the Muslim culture, they go all together.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting, and we are continuing with our discussion, and very interesting topic, very interesting participation, very interesting collaboration between you and them. But please remain with us, stay with us. We are going for a short break. We'll be coming soon. Welcome back in our program, Islam in the Contemporary World, and today's topic of discussion, work and culture, or work culture, or culture and work, whatever you assume, whatever you conceive, whatever you think. Very interesting, because our contributors, they aren't only academicians, they are the people who have contributed a lot, not only in Pakistan or in developing countries. They have gone outside and they have their observation. So let's see Dr. Kaleem Raza, what he says.
And as I said earlier, that culture is actually our behavior, overall behavior, from the morning till the time we go to sleep. It covers our entire life. And since we spend most time in offices, especially if you are working well, we spend most time there, we either develop a culture there. If we go to a culture which is different from ours, we try to adopt, or we try to train others.
So there are so many problems in adaptability. So how an individual who's a newcomer to a new culture, how would he overcome?
The first technique, for example, I consider myself a punctual person. I like to do things on time or in time, whatever. And when I think that someone I'm waiting for hasn't come, I become irritated. So the technique that I use to make them come on time, I encourage them. Instead of ridiculing them, I try to tell them verbally that...
What is the best way with meaningful communication to your subordinate or your colleagues or your friends?
In order to encourage and be friendly, I crack jokes. So instead of saying that you were late, I say, well, you're quite early. So that helps. And in the beginning, I had this problem, but now I don't have. I'm the last person to reach there. Everyone else is there before I go, which helps, and which is actually helping me.
You know, in what I observe outside, one of the colleagues, he was a manager. When someone is late, I was not up with them. So he never told to or convey to that person. He used to look at watch, and then looking at the face of that person. I think this is the best way to convey the message, body language. See, how Islam goes for punctuality, how Islam goes for honesty. You were talking about that.
Honesty is actually a way of dealing with things. So if I want to do something, I'll see whether it is correct for me or correct for the organization I'm working for or not. So I have to be honest. I also use another word, sincerity. That whatever I'm doing it with sincerity. And if I don't have sincerity or honesty, then these two qualities which were given to us by Islam, let's say our duty is defeated. We are not performing our duty. If you are not honest, if you are not sincere, and if we have no trust and things like that. So Islam has taught us a lot of things and which help us in spending our minutes, hours and days and weeks and years on this planet.
You think Islam has taught us so much, and it is a comprehensive culture and religion, but as being Muslim, are we following Islamic principles of administration or Islamic principles of law?
Following the religion is something else. Islam has given us a lot. It's up to us whether we take it or not. If we take it, are we going to use it or not? There's something else.
If there is any mishappening, and a Muslim guy or a Muslim individual is there, so would it be a fault of that an individual or fault of Islam?
Individual.
Exactly. This should be taken into account, and this should be considered that this act can be an action or performance or participation of individual, and this person can be from any culture, not necessarily from Muslim culture, it may be from other cultures. So we should not blame any religion or any culture saying that, oh, this is an offshoot, this is output of this religion or this culture. It may happen anywhere, because human beings, they are quite complicated. It is administrative setup and their mindset and their style of communication, methodologies, participation. Anyone, anywhere, without consideration of gender, without consideration of age, anyone can behave properly or improperly.
I have a very interesting observation in this regard.
Yeah, please.
The question that you raised about individual or the religion.
Exactly.
I've noticed that, and this is the thing which we observe throughout the world. If something is done by a non-Muslim, they never say that this was done by a Christian or Hindu or Sikh or whatever. They say an Indian did that, or an Australian did that, or a Chinese did that. If a Muslim is involved, then they say a Muslim did that. So when they describe Muslims, they use the word.
It is painful.
They relate it to their religion. Anyone else is doing it, they use the nationality. Even they don't say a French did that. It was done. They use passive. The 5 people were killed. If Muslims are involved, then Muslims killed 5 people.
I think there should be reported honesty, hyphenated. How do you report to your international community? Because world is like one culture cannot restrict itself to a particular region. It migrates from your media, from your ambassadors, from your dresses, from your films, from your festivals, rituals and festivities. So one should be honest. While you report to outside, it shouldn't be religion. Anyone can commit any sin in the world. So it should be specific to an individual rather than blaming a culture or religion.
But they always do this.
Unfortunately.
And because of it, Islam has been antagonized. People look at it, non-Muslim people look at it as something which is negative. Because whenever there is negative things, they use the word religion there. The Muslims did that.
So coming back to your point, there are so many stereotypes. People working in the same organization, they have a stereotype, or some they have fixed some basic wrong facts. I deliberately use the wrong facts, or misfed or mistreated things from different cultures, and now they say, oh, this person is appearing before me and he is in my organization, so no. Who has given this responsibility to this person? He is from this culture, so he shouldn't have been appointed, even considered. So this is stereotype. How could we minimize or reduce or eliminate this factor or the stereotype from work culture? What do you think?
I think it has to be through education training, that you should deal with people as individuals, not as members of a community. Okay, if for example in my office or wherever I am, if there are some non-Muslims, I don't look at them as non-Muslims there. I look at them as individuals, workers. They are doing Karachi University's job.
And you respect for humanity.
Humanity, and I respect them as what they are.
Being a professor of humanity, Professor Dr. Wajdi, how would you say that is it okay to have a stereotype or some wrong information in your mind, and you have a mindset that if this man is coming or woman is coming from this culture, necessarily he would be fanatic or abnormal or sort of something else?
Doctor, you have raised a very important question. We are discussing only the work and work culture, but why we forget that who works? The very important component, they are the workers, they are the people. In every religion, Islam or non-Islamic, people are the common factor.
Yeah.
Which organizations, if you can give the examples, which organization says not respecting to people, not honoring to people? The very important question that how you do work. Work, you see, work is the investment. Work is, if it becomes expense, then it would be burden. Work is the capital, because and who are the instrumental in achieving this capital? They are the people.
So you mean the modern theory of or the modern philosophy of economy? You give your time, I give you money. So this is sort of mutual understanding, reciprocal relationship between a person who is giver, like a producer, and the production class.
You see, the concept of the work at the workplace, in context of the workplace, so of course this becomes a satisfying source of economy to the people, because the people who come to work, they are not coming to work voluntarily. They want the compensation, they want their economic gain, they want their social values, they want to maintain their social status, they want to maintain their economic status, and this is the work which becomes very important instrument, providing them the economic satisfaction. So the concept of work and the people, they are interrelated, because if there are no people, there is no work.
Yeah.
Work can only be done with the people.
Yeah.
So if you see the cultural values of the people, that are the same in every organization, because in the new theory, the very important that people, they are not the machines, they are the human beings.
So,
and if they are human beings and they are involved in doing work, it means that there is questions of the proper utilization of the people.
it means that the contemporary work culture or work behavior is switching over from administrative mechanism or administrative theory of mechanism to human participation,
Humanistic approach.
Human emotions,
Yeah.
human feelings, and human interaction and interaction among people.
Of course, on the basis of the trust.
Yeah.
Because the work has become now investment, that if the people, they create their trust with the work, they
Yeah.
should do work, they should know that what they to do the work.
Yeah.
And if they do such work which are not required to do the work, this is expense. So the people, they would not be utilized in a proper way for gaining the productivity. We today what we think that organizations to be more productive, and people should not only contribution in any form. This is the work. But today we think a productive contribution, and productive contribution that can be made so long the people, they are very much interacted with their work, they create their confidence with their work, and to perform their work, of course, they would be more productive and they would do the work with honesty.
So this is a beautiful discussion, and we'll be continuing with this, but there is a law of communication and requirement. We have to go for a short break, and please stay with us, because we are here to discuss more about work culture. Welcome back in our program, Islam in the Contemporary World. My dear viewers, we are discussing about work culture, and naturally our contributors, they have pointed out so many important points. So keeping this point in mind, we are going to discuss more about work culture with Professor Kaleem Raza?
Since I'm a teacher, basically I'm a teacher, and
you teach English.
And I teach English, linguistics, and other things.
Yeah.
But what I want to emphasize is that as a teacher, we have a responsibility. Teaching is our work, and each class, whatever class we teach, is a new culture. It's a new society. So if I teach in the Department of English, let's say BS first year, my way of behavior is different from that of MS English, because it's 5 years they're 5 years senior.
They're involved in research work and PhD work,
and they are mature and they have studied a lot. My behavior is different. I don't explain a lot of things there. I explain a lot of things in BS first year. By the same token, if I go to teach the same subject somewhere else, for example, if I teach the same English language to students of statistics or economics or botany or public administration,
even political science,
my style has to be different, because I have to look at my students whether they will be able to understand English or not. So it doesn't mean that I speak to them in Urdu, but my speed may be slow. I may choose simple words. So this is because I believe in communication. In order to communicate, I have to look at the people I'm communicating with. This is something that we have to relate to everywhere. When we work in an office for an organization, we have to see what are the aims and objectives of that organization, what do they want to achieve, and how can I contribute to towards achieving that goal. So this is also something which is, I consider Islamic, because there is sincerity, honesty, and other virtues. Organizations are not outside the society, so whatever are the norms and cultures of society, we have to carry them to the organization, and there should be no discrepancy. And if you follow that, then work situation or work relations will be established, and they will be maintained, and because of that things will be improved.
So these are sort of suggestions. And Professor Wajdi, what do you think, shouldn't be there any professional ethics for the promotion of work culture, or you think that okay, culture is itself ethics?
Dr. Sahab, you have raised very important subject of ethics and ethical values. These are the part and partials, not of the professionals, but also for the work. And we use the two terminologies, the work ethics and work ethics. You see, when we talk the work in terms of the formal way, so there are certain ethics to do the works, and which determines that what is determined by the prescribed policy and rules. But ethical values, which is with your human values, there are certain things which are not permissible, which are prohibited for people to be involved doing in such work. So work in any religion, whether in Islamic societies, non-Islamic societies, in Western world, every organizations existing in these societies, they all are maintaining their work ethics and professional ethics.
Yeah.
Because you are subject to do the work not at your pleasure. You are subject to do the work what you are directed to do under the prescription, within the remit of the policy, rules, and regulation.
One has to follow administrative manual.
Yeah.
So the manual or the bylaws of organization are very much concerned to promote organizational ethics, professional ethics, and promotion of work culture. Because once if somebody is giving you $1 million or 1 million rupee, so the giver would be expecting that on receiving end, those who are from the receiving end, they would be giving them 100% positive input, and they should utilize these inputs for the larger interest of organization, because today's work culture is mostly concerned with profit, no loss. They minimize loss, and for that HR, you mentioned HR, human resource management theory, and the HR is working for that, and they are going to use one individual or an individual to work for 10. So again, sometimes there is a problem without caring about health, without caring about mental states, without caring about anxiety and depression of an individual. Organization and CEO and other people, they would be looking at the benefits. So is it professional ethics?
You see, I am mentioning here now that
because Islam did not allow for this.
Which works allows to their workers to be involved in unethical behavior. In every organizations, in Muslim and non-Muslim, in contemporary world, they all are maintaining these ethical standards. You see, no organization allows to their workers to be involved in sexual harassment, in bribery, in corruption, in doing the illegal acts, grafting, and all these things. So these all are the unethical values, and which is not promoted by any organization.
Or
there
by
is
any,
always restriction, and there is law.
And by any organization, not only organization, by any culture, by any religion, or by any group of the people, or any person in the world.
And this is also on the basis of the ethical values that organization maintains EEO, equal employment opportunity, irrespective of the differences on the basis of race, religion, genders. This comes also because you see, if someone violates this EEO and makes any discrimination, so even they are penalized. And there are many CEO, even in the US business culture, in Japanese business culture, they were penalized for violating their ethical values.
Also in Islamic principles and Islamic administrative law, it sets so many principles that once if any worker goes against Islamic Sharia or the principles of Islamic public administration, they are penalized. They are asked for shukaz notice or sort of inquiry or committee setting against hearing or something like that. All this process has been done by Hazrat Umar Farooq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Usman Ghani, Hazrat Ali. While we look at Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, when he started with a sermon against the people who negated not to pay the essential tax, that is zakat, and they violated this rule, and they said, no, we are not going to pay this zakat to Islamic State. Then Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu declared state policy that Abu Bakr Siddiq cannot admit there any lame excuse or any sort of concession or any sort of demand, because this is against Quran and Sunnah. So the person who is CEO, either he is CEO or head of the state, if it is Islamic State, then he will have to go for the supremacy of law, that is Sharia, the cosmic law. And even in the non-Muslim world, you were saying
and
about
they
that.
all respect the dignity of man, the right of man at the workplace. There should be no any discriminatory act. So Islam does so.
And really I wished to discuss more and to address the issue, but unfortunately we have limited time. Professor Dr. Abu Wajdi, I am thankful to you that you came to discuss very important topic of work culture on behalf of QTV. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Professor Kaleem Raza, thank you very much for your presence and for your time and your contribution academically you discuss for the promotion of work culture in the world in the light of Quran and Sunnah and in the light of impartial administration.
It was my pleasure
Thank you very much.
to be here. Thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you. And this was a message of today's discussion, work culture in the light of Quran and Sunnah and the Western world. I'm thankful to everybody who was watching this program, and also I'm thankful to QTV and its hard-working team to promote the message of Islam, the message of Quran in the world for the promotion of humanity without any other consideration. Thank you very much for being with us. May Allah bless all of you. Never forget to watch our Islam in the Contemporary World next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Allah Hafiz.